In Haringey, North London, the streets demand more than just presence. Every block is claimed, and power isn't given, it's taken. Survival is the only rule that matters. Set in the shadow of Tottenham Hotspur's stadium, the neighbourhoods of Tottenham, Wood Green and Northumberland Park have birthed legends and rivalries alike. In the 1980s, the Tottenham Mandem, TMD, emerged from the gritty corners of Tottenham, carving out a reputation that would set the stage for decades. Their influence was undeniable, but as time marched on, new factions arose. The Northumberland Park Killers, NPK, also known as Sin Squad, splintered from TMD, staking their claim in the Northumberland Park estate. Identified by their signature purple, NPK's rise was marked by fierce confrontations and a pursuit of dominance. The streets of Haringey became a battleground. In 2007, a clash between NPK and the Shankstars from Edmonton erupted near Hertford Road, involving up to 20 individuals in a violent incident. This confrontation was a revenge attack, a response to an earlier ambush on an NPK member at a club in Forest Gate. The ensuing chaos led to multiple arrests and convictions. The stakes escalated in 2009 when NPK members were imprisoned for the murder of Gary Guthrie, a crime that intensified the animosity between NPK and the Shankstars. The streets buzzed with tension, each corner a potential flashpoint. By 2011, the violence had reached new heights. Bienvenu Vangu was associated with the rival Wood Green Young Guns. He launched an axe attack on 2 NPK members, a brutal act that led to his imprisonment. The same year, the tragic death of Steven Grisales, an architecture student from Argentina, shocked the community. He was fatally stabbed by a member of the Northumberland Park Killers. The stage was set for a violent showdown between 2 factions: the Northumberland Park Killers, NPK, and the Wood Green Mob, WGM. Their escalating rivalry would bring chaos to the borough's streets. The roots of this animosity trace back to territorial disputes and the pursuit of dominance. NPK, emerging from the Northumberland Park estate, sought to expand its influence and move in on areas traditionally controlled by the Wood Green Mob. This was a direct challenge, igniting a fierce competition for control over the local drug markets. The rivalry intensified with a series of violent confrontations. In the early hours of February 3, 2018, Kwabena Nelson, known as Kobe, a former NPK member, was ambushed and fatally stabbed by WGM affiliates after a deliberate car crash. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Kobe was driving his grey Honda Civic along Kemble Road. Unbeknownst to him, a stolen black Honda Civic, driven by 21-year-old Neron Quarty, was lying in wait. As Kobe's vehicle approached the junction with St. Mary's Close, Quarty accelerated, ramming into Kobe's car with deliberate force. The collision was no accident. Quarty and up to 5 accomplices, armed with knives and poles, descended upon Kobe's vehicle. Witnesses described a frenzied attack, with Kobe attempting to shield himself as the assailants unleashed a barrage of blows. He was stabbed 14 times. Kobe managed to stagger to a nearby house, desperately knocking on the door for help. Inside, Felipe Lucci and his family were awakened by the frantic banging. Through the door, they heard Kobe's desperate pleas. "Help me! Help me! I'm going to die!" By the time emergency services arrived, Kobe had succumbed to his injuries. Another attack took place in the early hours of March 8, 2018. Kelvin Odunui, alias Lamps or Dipdat, was shot dead outside the View Cinema in Wood Green. At approximately 12:30 a.m., Kelvin stood with friends at the entrance of the cinema on High Road. The night was alive with the usual hum of activity, but an ominous presence lurked nearby. A moped, carrying two masked men, approached Kelvin. Without warning, the pillion passenger produced a handgun and fired multiple shots. Kelvin was struck in the head, collapsing as chaos erupted around him. Emergency services transported him to a nearby hospital. Despite their efforts, he was pronounced dead 2 hours later. His murder was widely viewed as a revenge attack for Nelson's killing, further escalating the cycle of revenge. In this digital age, social media became battlegrounds for the gangs. Members from both sides posted to platforms like Instagram and Snapchat to taunt rivals, showcase weaponry, and flaunt their cash. These online provocations not only fueled the feud, but also served as recruitment tools, drawing impressionable youths into the fray. On the night of September 21st, 2021, the streets of Haringey were cloaked in a tense silence, a calm before the chaos that was about to unfold. At approximately 10:30 p.m., 22-year-old Sharmake Mohamud was walking along green lanes near the junction with Fairfax Road, unaware that he was being hunted. A stolen dark-colored Jag cruised the area. Inside, 5 men, later identified as members of a rival gang, were on a mission. The Jag, also used in the getaway, was on cloned plates. As the car approached Mohamud, 2 men emerged. One of them, 29-year-old Ali Sise, brandished a Tokarev-patterned self-loading pistol. Without hesitation, he opened fire, the muzzle flashes illuminating the night. Sharmake was struck multiple times, collapsing onto the pavement as the shooter retreated to his vehicle. The attack was swift, leaving Sharmake with 8 gunshot wounds to his chest, arms, and bicep. Despite the rapid response of emergency services, he was pronounced dead at the scene. He went out in a hail of bullets. The violence didn't end there. 2 innocent bystanders were caught in the crossfire. Newton Jr., a 40-year-old moped driver, was shot once in the buttock, while 26-year-old pedestrian Arba Dervishi suffered 3 gunshot wounds to his legs. Both men survived. In the aftermath, the gang attempted to cover their tracks. The Jag was abandoned and set ablaze in a futile effort to destroy evidence. However, forensic investigators recovered crucial items: a latex glove and a disposable face mask bearing Cise's DNA, along with clothing linked to other gang members. This was all part of the escalating gang warfare that gripped the streets. In the days after the attack, the Met Police faced immense pressure. The audacity of the onslaught had injured 2 bystanders. Detective Chief Inspector Wayne Jolly, leading the investigation, declared, "This was a planned attack. The group set out that night with the intention of finding rival gang members and doing serious harm." The abandoned and torched getaway car became a treasure trove of evidence. Forensic teams combed through the charred remains, uncovering several items bearing the DNA of 29-year-old gunman Ali Sise. Additionally, clothing linked to other gang members was recovered, providing crucial leads. CCTV footage was recovered. Cameras captured the attackers embracing in apparent celebration after the shooting. This footage not only identified key suspects, but also offered insight into the roles of some of the gang members. The investigation's fast pace led to significant breakthroughs in the hunt for those responsible. On October 27, 2021, 29-year-old Ali Sise, the gunman who had fled to the Gambia, was captured upon his return to the UK and subsequently admitted to murder and 2 counts of wounding with intent. Co-defendants Mehdi Yunus, 22, and Abdul Mohamud, 25, both from Enfield, along with 2 17-year-olds, were arrested and charged in connection to the crime. On the streets of Haringey, North London, a group of young men had just etched their names into the Gangland Hall of Infamy. They were Ali Cisse, the trigger man. At 29, Cisse was no stranger to the streets. Known for his cold demeanor and resolve, he was the one who pulled the trigger that fateful night. After the shooting, Cisse fled to the Gambia, attempting to evade the inevitable. However, upon his return to the UK, he was immediately arrested. Abdul Mohamud. At 25, Mohamud from Enfield helped with the planning. On the night, he ensured the plan's execution without a hitch. His role as the spotter indicates his position of trust within the gang. He was likely involved in identifying the target and tracking his movements. Mehdi Yunus. Aged 22 and also from Enfield, Yunus was the loyal right-hand man. He played a significant role in the events leading up to and during the shooting. Yunus was responsible for collecting the mobile phones of his associates before the attack, so to prevent their movements from being traced. He also provided a large machete and a petrol can, indicating his significant involvement. The young recruits. 2 17-year-olds, whose identities remain protected due to their age, were the youngest members of the crew. Drawn into the allure of gang life, they were eager to prove themselves. Their participation in the shooting was proof of their loyalty and commitment to the gang. These individuals, bound by gang loyalty, had pulled off their mission. But the hardest part was yet to come. In March 2023, Ali Cisse pleaded guilty to murder and 2 counts of wounding with intent, leading to a life sentence with a minimum term of 35 years and 275 days. The rest of the team would face a trial at the Old Bailey. The trial unfolded with all the intensity of a high-stakes gangland saga. The courtroom became an arena where the fates of the 5 men accused of the brutal murder of 22-year-old Sharmake Mohamud hung in the balance. The Crown presented a narrative painting the defendants as members of a gang ride-out team, hell-bent on asserting dominance through violence. CCTV footage played a big role, capturing Yunus returning the phones to his associates, and the attackers embracing in apparent celebration after the shooting in a chilling display. Forensic evidence further tightened the noose. A latex glove and disposable face mask bearing Cisse's DNA were recovered from the torched getaway car. The stolen getaway car was said to hold vital evidence. This damning evidence linked the gang directly to the crime scene. The defense teams mounted a challenge, questioning the reliability of the prosecution's evidence and the integrity of the investigation. They argued that the DNA evidence could have been contaminated and that the CCTV footage was open to interpretation. Their strategy aimed to sow seeds of doubt in the minds of the jurors. After deliberating for over 54 hours, the jury delivered their verdicts. Guilty. Mohamud, Yunus, and the 2 17-year-olds were convicted of murder and 2 counts of causing grievous bodily harm with intent. Not guilty. A 6th defendant, 25-year-old Rasit Musa from North London, was acquitted of all charges, walking out of the courtroom a free man. The judge, in a stern tone, condemned the defendant's actions as a planned attack that displayed a callous disregard for life. He handed down life sentences to the convicted, with minimum terms ranging from 22 to 35 years. Yunus received a life sentence with a minimum term of 31 years. Abdul Mohamud was handed a life sentence with a minimum term of 34 years. The two 17-year-olds, whose identities remain protected due to their age, were both sentenced to detention of at least 22 years. In the end, the streets of Haringey and beyond tell a story that never truly ends. The names change, but the cycle stays the same. Respect fought for with blood, power taken at any cost. Those names, Sharmake Mohamud, Kobe Nelson, and Kelvin Odunui, each marked by violence, each became a chapter in the unwritten rules of the game. The verdicts come down, cells close, and the city pauses, but only for a moment. Retaliation brews, new faces step up, and the hunger for status, power, and revenge finds its next targets. The question lingers in the air, heavy and unanswered. Does the cycle break, or does it just reset, waiting for the next name to be etched in blood on the streets? The fight goes on. Because in this world, survival isn't a lesson learned, it's a battle that's never finished. For more raw and real crime stories, hit the like button and subscribe. Until the next episode, stay alert and stay safe.